Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, headlines and music, and the movies we can't forget. I'm host Windsor Burns, by my counterpart Savon Morris. How's it going, man?
Hey, that intro's getting solid, bro.
The two guys in their 20s no longer applies, so
It no
it's a
longer
different
applies.
era.
I'm old now, man. But that was a great intro, bro. I'm doing good, man. Coming back off this surgery. I'm just trying to, walk again. So we'll see how things go in the coming weeks.
Definitely. Well, we're joined by a special guest once again. Kevin Garcia. He's been on for past episodes and a good friend of the show. Thank you so much for being back on, man.
Of course. Glad to be here again.
Yeah, man, definitely. Well, we have a lot of topics to get into for this episode. Obviously, thoughts on the finals, some album reviews in the second half. We're going to do of Spider-Man across the first. To start off with just thoughts on the Nuggets' dominant Game 3 win in Miami, along with Murray and Jokic's historic performances. Denver won 109-94, and Jokic and Murray became the first teammate in finals history to both record triple-doubles. Denver also out-rebounded the Heat 58 to 33, and in the last game, there was, in that second half especially, Miami seemed like the more dominant, aggressive team. But to you, Kevin, what were your thoughts on what Denver was able to do and just how they kind of flipped the switch in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, the way Denver's looked in game 1 and game 3 kind of seems like what would have made sense.
Yeah.
um, hold on real quick. I just want to, is it recording me?
Yeah, it's recording.
I was just checking because it wasn't showing the lines and stuff.
I see it showing the lines on our side.
On yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure so I didn't go into it and then.
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay. Let's just not do that. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure. So.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you can keep going.
Okay. Kind of before even the whole series, part of me was like, the Nuggets really should honestly get this in 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm. Like a 5 game.
And games 1 and 3 kind of look like that. The only reason I didn't want to say that is because the Bucks probably should have got the heat in that. The Celtics should have got the heat in that. So I was like, let me give them some credit. And I don't know. It's just, it looks like, I don't know what matchup right now or what kind of combination of people could really match up well with them, the way that they're shooting and all that. And they've had so many games of, well, surely they can't keep going at that pace. And
yeah.
it just is. And it just is keep going.
Definitely. And to you, Savon, it's interesting because we've mentioned how Jokic, he's going to play at a high level almost every game. In that last game, he had 41 points, only 4 assists. But this game, it was more of that balanced Jokic performance where everybody's getting involved. He's making sure that he's facilitating, surveying the floor. What did you think about this performance and what it means going forward for the Nuggets?
It wasn't even Jokic that, surprised me this game because we know he's a facilitator first, and that's when they're the best. He gets the guys involved, the guys off the bench involved. But Jamal Murray having a triple-double is really unheard of, especially in this game coming off that loss. He looked like he was ready to just take all the effort, take all the backlash, everything. They probably had a terrible meetings after game 2, like, guys, we need to finish this in 5 games. But I think Jamal Murray has really submerged and became that leader. We know Jokic is the facilitator. That's his stamp. But I think Jamal Murray in this whole postseason in the NBA Finals have became the leader of this Denver Nuggets team. 34 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. He looked like he could do no wrong. And then game 2, we all know when Jokic is not the facilitator. He had 4 assists. They're not a well-oiled machine. They were playing really good defense on him. They was allowing him to shoot. I will live with Jokic knocking 41 points down a game. It's the assist total is going to be the heartbreaking thing for any organization, any team. So, but Jamal Murray, I think, was the steal of the show. Him having a triple-double, him stepping up to the plate and showing his teammates that he can lead this ball game.
Yeah, and I mean, another notion that's kind of, I think, growing from this finals is the fact that, Murray and Jokic might be the best duo in the league. We have a lot of impressive duos. To you, Kevin, where do you think this duo ranks among just the most potent ones? Because there's so many. Obviously, the Splash Brothers, Clay didn't have the typical series we're used to seeing from him. AD and LeBron went on a run, but came up short against Denver. Where do you see this duo among the best in the league?
Yeah, in regards to just actual straight up 5-on-5 NBA play, all of that. I mean, it has to be the best, right? Like, I mean, and that's weird because there's players better than Jamal Murray. Like, if you had players on 2K, right, and they were like one was 95, like a Devin Booker, and a 98 like KD or something,
Yeah.
their numbers would add up to be higher than Jokic and Murray. But like them together is just like I don't understand. Some of this is going to look so
Otherworldly.
weird in like 15 years when people are looking at Jamal Murray's playoff stats because it's not just this year. I mean, a couple years ago too, against in the bubble, he was killing it too. I mean, he had like 45-point games.
Yeah.
He put up 25 a game in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, even though they
That's
got him in
right.
five.
Yep.
Yeah, like but and it's just crazy because he just has I don't know. Like I mean, as a Lakers fan, obviously I was seeing it in that sweep, just like he looks like so much better than so many players, but I don't know if he would exactly look like that. I do think he's better than most people probably think of him as,
Yeah.
but like I do think the way that they play together, it just unlocks it so well. I mean, it opens it up for Jokic too. I mean, Jokic is going to be Jokic
No matter
regardless,
what.
but it opens it up so much more for him when you do have a lot of shooters, and in particular one who can, like Savon said, do some playmaking, make some shots, make some tough shots, and is always going to kind of keep going that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Where would you, Savon, rank this duo among the best in the league?
It's still early to say they're top five, right? They just got to NBA Finals. Jamal Murray has been up and down with his injuries. He even told I asked the coach, "Are you guys going to trade me?" So it's always like that hidden doubt. Like, are these guys going to get it together eventually? Are they going to get to the NBA Finals? They're here. So now it's all about a consistency thing. I won't say they're top five. I definitely think they're top 10. There's a lot of great duos. If you take your pick, you got Kevin Durant and
top five?
Devin Booker. No top five. Not top five.
Wow.
Because Jamal Murray has not been here. He hasn't. So I'm talking in top five consistently from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. Jamal Murray just had 2 seasons where he was injury free. So how are we going to give these guys top five of potential? No. I'm giving top five of clear evidence. These guys are a great duo together. Obviously, you got Clay and Steph Curry.
So you're basing it more so on availability. You're basing it more so on availability.
No, I'm not just availability. I'm consistency and doing it year on a year basis. Like Kevin said, we know Jokic is going to be that guy. Look at Middleton and Giannis, been doing it for 4 or 5 years, got a championship out of it. Devin Booker and KD are still new, but we already know what that is. Obviously, you got the Splash Brothers. We got guys across the league. I'm not going to give these guys top five if they haven't been consistent, and he has not been here. So he gets an A for not being here, and Jokic is standing in series 2, and he's not there. He's getting swept because Jamal Murray's not there. But they're the greatest duo. I can't give it to him. But after this finals, we're going to have to see if they can do this consistently moving forward. Now we know Jamal Murray can get to the NBA Finals and be a leader and be healthy. Moving forward, we'll give him. But top 10 for sure, but top 5, no. I'm just not. This is not a participation award. If you're going to be top, we're not. No.
I mean, you mentioned KD and Devin Booker, but they've played like 20 games together.
KD didn't play that many regular season games.
Low-key is
but look. Okay, I said take your pick. They have a team full of players. If you want to do CP3 and Devin Booker,
who just got waived.
I'm just saying, you could take your pick. You take a pick. Yeah, but I mean, I just want to give it to them. This is not a participation award. This is the first time getting into NBA Finals, first time even getting remotely close to this. Obviously, we had the bubble. But other than that, these guys have not what before that. So you're giving them top 2 or top 5 off of what resume? Of what resume?
Well, I mean, they had been making whenever he was there. They had been making the playoffs.
That's the thing when Murray's
no. Go back to what you just said. When he has been there, so he's not been there fully.
I mean, but I just don't know which other duos in that case have actually been together and both have been healthy and aren't at the end of their career. And if we're just going off, you said participation trophies, but also we can ride people's accolades to the point like where it's like previous achievement gets carried into it versus.
But that's consistent though.
The Splash Brothers aren't playing at this level right now. Like Steph is not
Yeah, like
Clay.
Steph is, but Clay's not like.
Clay just came off a 2-year injury and still has
Jamal Murray
top
came off an injury
15.
too.
No, Jamal Murray has come off several injuries. Several. Klay Thompson only really been hurt one time, and we seen that, but they went and they won the NBA championship last year. So that's why they're top 5, because they just won the championship last year. Denver has not did anything outside of make it to the second round of the playoffs, besides the bubble. But even the bubble, they didn't make it to the NBA Finals. So what are you guys basing that on? Potential. That's what you're basing on, potential. If you go back to the previous accolades anyways, it's consistency. Splash Brothers are consistent. I could give you way more, but the questions just sprouted up because Wellington like to throw little questions here and not give nobody a time to get ready for it. If this was in a lot of questioning, I'll have 10 people. That's off the top of the head. But they're not consistent enough to be in the top 5 of duos. No. Their resume has not solidified them to be top 5. That's just my opinion. Even in this NBA Finals, they might lose. Who knows? And then what then? Is still the top 5 duo?
Not put Butler in Adebayo.
He's going down to 5. That's what I just said. They're not going to last.
But like in totality, in terms of like with how this series is played out, if the Nuggets do win, like to you, Kevin, like who do you think will probably end up being the most valuable player of this series if things could kind of continue on the same pattern that it's going for Denver?
Well, I mean, it's going to be Jokic. I mean, Murray's the most, like, if he's showing up, that's going to be an easy, that he absolutely won. Like Savon said earlier, Jokic will still put up 41 and 15, but if Murray isn't playing good, they're probably not going to win when he puts that up. So, I mean, Murray, it's kind of like whenever Iguodala won the finals MVP, even though he only averaged like 15 a game. But the thing was, once he started playing good, it like put them over the top a little bit.
Yeah.
But without Steph, there wouldn't have been no top to get put over. You know,
that's the biggest robbery. Is that the biggest robbery for a Finals MVP ever?
Yes.
Yes.
Participation trophy. That's what
that's a participation trophy. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But to you, Savon, who like do you kind of feel as though the same way Kevin does, that it'll probably be Jokic winning the Finals MVP if the Nuggets win?
Oh, for sure. Because everything flows through him. The facilitator is one of the most important aspects of basketball. You got to get guys to their sweet spots, getting guys involved, guys off the bench even. So without that, we've seen when he doesn't facilitate well and they take that away from him, you lose game 2. So Jokic is the centerpiece of his entire basketball team. But I do think Jamal Murray is the leader of the basketball team.
And now getting to a recent report that came out of Kyrie reaching out to LeBron to come to Dallas. It was reported at the beginning of this week that Kyrie had to talk to, he's got to put on his recruiting pitch.
Terrible.
I know. In attempt to see if James would come to Dallas, and Irving will also be a free agent this offseason. To you, Kevin, like what are your thoughts on this situation? Because obviously there's always been reports of Kyrie wanting to come to of LeBron wanting Kyrie to come to the Lakers. And now to me, it's LeBron is not going to go to Dallas. There's no scenario in which it will happen. But what were your initial thoughts on it?
So, I mean, I live in Dallas and I'm a Lakers fan. Like this was like I saw a lot of my timeline, even people who don't follow basketball a lot, The thing is like what's the only small 1% wrinkle I even give any credit to was like, I think it was back in like February. Bill Simmons predicted that LeBron and Draymond were going to join Kyrie and Luka in Dallas.
He's got some interesting predictions, and sometimes they come true.
Crazy stuff out there. Yeah. But I've always listened to him. I listen to him almost like wrestling now. I'm just kind of like, it's entertainment. It's fun. He's good at his thing. But he does have sometimes these random things he throws out that I feel like he doesn't want to reveal who told him something. So I don't think the biggest reason why. I don't think it would happen anyways, but the biggest reason why there's literally nothing to trade for. Like what are they going to give? like there's nothing you can give besides like ownership or something to the Lakers where they own Cavs. Yeah, or Luka. I was like, okay, y'all want to trade everybody and we'll just take Luka back? Fine, I'll do it. Like I'm cool with it. But other than that, I'm honestly overall, I really just feel like it's them pressing the Lakers to get Kyrie. for better or worse, in the sense that like LeBron has really, really wanted Kyrie, and even though the Lakers had a lot of other players show up and do things, LeBron seems really, really set on wanting to join with Kyrie again, and so I think it's kind of them just pressing that way to cause something, I guess.
Yeah. Is it going to happen, Savon, the Kyrie LeBron reunion in LA?
Yeah, if they have a better chance of going to LA, but Dallas, no. Why would you offer a man a Pinto when he got a Lamborghini? I don't understand it. I know, but it's a better opportunity for him to go. He's a free agent, so trading, like Kevin said, they have nothing to trade for, so it doesn't make sense. Mark Cuban is not going to make that trade unless it makes sense. So he has a better chance of going to free agency and going to the Lakers. But I don't think he wants to be in LA. I don't know why he doesn't want to be in LA. I don't know why he doesn't want to be a Laker, but it's going to be a better position for Kyrie to be with the Lakers because now you have that commodity already. You don't have to rebuild because you come in a situation with Luka and all these other guys that you got traded to. So, but you know guys over there.
Yeah.
So why not, have a better positioning of getting to play with LeBron James by going to the Lakers?
That's the easiest way to do it. That's the easiest way to do it.
Because he's not going to Dallas. Even if
no.
he's like, he will retire, I think.
Like some people were saying, like, oh, he's a Cowboys fan, so there might be a chance. I'm like, no, it's not happening.
Yeah,
you guys are grasping for straws.
He's not leaving. Like,
no, it's just not happening.
And his kid just went to USC. Is going to USC. Get out of here.
He's staying.
Yeah, Bronny's at USC, so no way.
That's a no.
And now getting into our next topic with the Ja Morant suspension. Recently, Adam Silver came out and said that the NBA investigated the Ja Morant incident and the league will announce the suspension following the NBA Finals. And Savon, we had talked about it before, like what you thought about the decision that they should make. To you, Kevin, what are your thoughts on the league's decision and kind of the likelihood of how long this suspension would be?
So I'm not exactly sure what your guys' opinion on it previously was. Mine's a little kind of, I feel like Ja Morant is like Hall of Fame, all-time first team being a dummy right now. But I'm not sure if it necessitates being suspended like half the season or something, like how people are saying. Like people are like, oh, he should be this much or that much. Part of me is like, I don't know, 10 games max. Like, I mean, mostly because you warned him already and then he's still doing something. But I remember thinking like, if like Brett Favre was over here, right, and listening to country music and had his rifle out talking about some lyrics in a country song that went along with it, I'm like, would that really be considered? Would people be like, oh, it's goofy and everything? Yeah, but like, would there be some crazy, like, overly thing? Again, don't get me wrong. This is like first team all being dumb, losing money, all these things with Ja Morant. Being stupid, though, doesn't mean you should get suspended that long. Like, and if there's other things going on, yeah, hey, get some people with him and all that. I want to see the best for him. I love Ja as a player, so I could be defensive too. But I was like, man, it's been treated like, again,
kind of extreme.
He's being dumb. Shame him for that. Apparently, he cares what people think. So let's shame him into stopping this. Everybody make fun of it. Maybe it'll change his mind on doing these things. But I'm like, man, suspending him for a year or taking away all of his stuff and doing all these things. I'm like, that's excessive. Like he's being stupid. He's not like waving it at people. Again, really stupid. I'm not giving any justification, but the level of what he's going to get or what some people want is crazy to me.
I think there's other findings as well. They haven't steamrolled it out because of the finals. They didn't want to take away from the finals. And I retracted a little bit from I'd said a half a season because there was other findings. This is, I mean, yes, you got to right to bear arms. Obviously, he didn't break any laws, but your brand, you have to, and it's the people around him, and I think is the problem. You're a brand of the NBA, and it's not the first time. And I do agree if it was not Brett Favre, I don't think Brett Favre would have been
maybe not a great example.
Yeah, that was like use another one, but I mean, Melo said this too because he was like I think Stearns was the commissioner at the time. He was like, you got to choose either basketball or ish, or you can't do both. So you're a professional. So there's a different standard for you as an NBA because you're essentially getting paid to play a kid's game. So and then you're a black male. So you already got 2 strikes against you, right? So I'm not chastising him for not being young. I'm chastising him because you should know better. That's not your typical background. Your father showed you better. He was in your life consistently. Not saying that doesn't, give you a reason to be able to do those things, but you're a brand. You're part of a brand. You make millions of dollars to play a kid's game, and you want to do this life. So you got to choose. And I think I said half the season because I wanted him to choose. At the end of the day, you have to come. How severe do I want to play basketball? How severe do I want to be in the streets? How bad do you want it? So half a season, I don't know about that anymore. Maybe 25 games, but
a couple weeks ago, you were going hard.
You should know better, bro. You're a black male in the United States. You're a young black male. You're making millions. Like, okay, I digress, but you should know better. You should know better.
There's nothing I disagree with. The thing is like he already lost a lot of money. Like just by not playing a certain amount of games, not making all NBA, and then your contract, you lost millions. And I'm like,
just double down.
I would be a Jehovah Witness after that. I don't understand it. I lost millions of dollars by showing a gun.
Yeah, and then did it again, and it feels
he beat up a 17-year-old too. So I mean,
there was. Now see, that stuff. Some of that stuff was kind of like, oh, okay. There's really no.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's all combined. So if it's all combined, a stronger penalty, I'm totally fine with. It's just usually most of the talk has been just around that part of it. But yeah, some of the other stuff, if you're doing all those things, you're together, it can be more than that.
And I'm eager to see what they're going to streamroll. What else did they find? They said they got a lot of stuff they found. So
we'll Mike see. Malone would be hella mad if he said something though.
Probably shot a stripper or something. I don't know.
Oh gosh.
Savon, you keep using these cancel comments.
We're getting canceled. Yeah.
You're welcome.
And another thing, obviously, with the major headline of Chris Paul being waived and that situation, because like in that Denver series, there was a stretch where Phoenix won back-to-back games at home. People were saying, do they have more success without Chris Paul because they can play at a faster pace? To you, Kevin, like what do you think about in terms? I know it's unfair. It's unfair to base off of 2 games, but Kevin, to you, what are your thoughts on Chris Paul's future and kind of like the next possible destination for him?
I do think, and not just because all Lakers fans always think everyone's going to the Lakers, but I do think he's probably going to go to the Lakers.
Yes.
I mean, him and LeBron are friends. It makes sense with it. For the Lakers side, it's not like at the price he was at, I see the argument of you're taking about a certain amount of space cap-wise in which we can have players, and the Suns desperately need more depth. I understand the reasoning. I don't think if it was just the pace of it, I don't think that'd be a good argument because you have Chris Paul, who even when he gets old, he's gonna be real smart. He's gonna be real savvy and real annoying.
Or general.
I love and hate Chris Paul. But I do think that's probably where it's gonna go. He's gonna go to a team where he can be a big part, but not take away a whole bunch of the cap, like Westbrook when he went to the Clippers. If they were signing him for $30 million, it wouldn't be a great deal to take up all that space.
No.
But to have someone come in and be able to provide some extra and them not be the focal point, I think is a huge addition to anybody. He's one of those players when you get older, he's gonna probably have some random game where he wins a playoff game or two and is the turning point for a veteran team to go to a championship or something.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
And probably a couple little cheap shots of somebody on the way,
To you, Savon, what are your thoughts on this announcement of him being waived and also the next possible fit for him?
Excellent point, Kevin, especially that cap space. Because I was just thinking about the Lakers and how they won in the bubble because they had a really good but old facilitator, Rajon Rondo. Mm-hmm. And just thinking about what Chris Paul can do, he already has that chemistry with LeBron James. Cap space wouldn't go crazy on it, and I think they'll be immediately better. Better. I think that's one of the missing factors they have this year. They didn't have a real facilitator outside LeBron. LeBron is getting old, so he needs A lot. LeBron's old, man. LeBron is old. It is saddening, bro. It's real saddening. But I do understand what the
When he
Suns are
missed that
doing.
breakaway dunk, in game two,
Well,
I was like, oh, it might be over.
nah, that's not it. I've seen a lot of guys, old young guys, do that.
I
But
know, but
when he
the
was
way
like,
the world reacted to that, they were like, "No, LeBron's never done this before."
yeah, LeBron, yeah, then everybody clips to Michael Jordan doing it too. But I think what got me was the low management within the game. Like he didn't score, he didn't drive or do anything for the first half in first quarter, and then some in the second quarter, and then
Yeah.
that's when he turned it on. I'm like, bro, he's old. And then some of the
Yeah.
signature thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree, but kind of a little bit for a different reason. Like I think it's more so the oldness is hitting his where he's getting injured now, and he used to be like immortal, because he was. If you watched him this year, I mean, he clearly was moving different before the foot
Yeah,
injury. I mean, he was putting up 45 points, 38, 40, and then throughout the playoffs, he was able, like at times, he was able to just coast because like Austin Reeves was handling the ball a lot, AD was scoring, or D'Lo was getting a couple games until against the Nuggets apparently. But like that's the part where I definitely see LeBron and getting older that you do need someone else to handle it more, which is weird because Chris Paul is older and kind of needs someone else to handle it more too. But maybe they just take turns.
take turns.
It's like,
They run around with life alert on the court. Your turn, brother. But I do understand what the Phoenix Suns are doing because when Chris Paul got hurt, then it was a clear indicator like, okay, guy's old. We got to ship him out. I thought they were going to trade. They might still trade Aiden out of there because Aiden hasn't showed up postseason and he just got a huge contract. And
he's
I think
always supposed to be that. He always should have been the key X factor for that team in terms of like them going to the next level.
yes. And if you're going to keep KD and Devin Booker, you really don't need a big 4 or 5. You need a lot of supporting cast guys coming off the bench who can hit from perimeter and play pretty decent defense. So I think they could trade Aiden still and get some good supporting cast pieces. I think Devin Booker and KD will be okay. They'll eventually be top 5 duos of the NBA.
Murray-Jokic number 1. But now transitioning to our first album review with KAYTRANADA and Aminè's KAYTRAMINE. This new album is packed with high-profile features that complement Celestine's instrumental bounce and Aminè's nimble delivery. And when the pair are producing alone, the result is equally compelling in Aminè's meandering between R&B vocals on the jazz reference tracks. To you, Kevin, like what were your initial thoughts on this collab? It definitely had a summery feel to it, and I feel as though they really complemented each other on each track.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Like, it feels like it's starting to get hot. We're getting the 100-degree weather now in Dallas.
Perfectly.
So my wife and we've already been in the pool, stuff like that. It felt like that kind of music you want to hear when you're kind of out.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I had like I was trying to think of a certain way to describe it because it wasn't like super fast upbeat, but it was like like a controlled upbeat, if that makes sense. I don't even know if that makes sense how to word it, but like it was just done really well. I really enjoyed it. Like really they'd done a couple tracks before, I think like 3 or so, kind of spread from a few years away from each other. I know they started working on this a couple years ago, but like um yeah, I mean, I really, right when I first heard the first song and you hear like kind of the sample and the
Yeah.
illusion to others, I was like, oh man, I think I'm gonna really like this. And like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like the only weird thing is the only small thing is like for me, I don't really necessarily have like 1 or 2 songs that I'm gonna go and just play that one alone. But I'm like, if I'm doing a certain thing, I'm gonna want to just put this album
run it
on.
through. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't mean that as a bad. I like albums like that. I like projects, so I'm totally fine. Like how I haven't played it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Savon, the last time we talked about this duo, we mentioned that how we were looking forward to the album, how they were going to put all these singles together. What were your takeaways of it, and just like what you thought about it overall?
Yeah, what Kevin said, man. This is an album, like not a specific song that I'm just gonna play, but this is just let it ride. I think I dislike one song out of 11, and that was West Side. I really didn't vibe with that song, but every other track, fire. The beats are nice. I love the intro. The intro really set the tone of the album.
It did.
And I was like, okay, because I'm thinking, and Wellington knows I'm going to get this man's name wrong, and we've said it 1,000 times. I'm just call him K. Every kiss but kids but K. How about that? K his style of his producing is specific and identical to him, and I was wondering if that was going to be a contrast for Aminè. And then I was like, well, the single track kind of gave me some, okay, it might be decent. But now this full ensemble, I'm like, yeah, they need to do some more projects together. I thought it was spectacular. 10 out of 11 is not bad. It's a vibe. It sounds like summer. The bars were there. Lyricism was there. And then it wasn't overly K. Kentrada?
You're gonna keep calling him
KAYTRANADA?
KAYTRANADA.
KAYTRANADA.
KAYTRANADA! Empanada KAYTRANADA. Okay.
But another thing I was gonna mention, like in terms of how, like Savon, you said it, like these two can probably do more work together. Like Kevin, like do you kind of envision them like making more music together, kind of like in the upcoming years?
I think so. I mean, it naturally, like, for example, like I've listened to more KAYTRANADA, so like I was like kind of on the other end where I was like, oh, I don't know how this will go this way or that way, but like it naturally goes well. A lot of times I always get disappointed with collabs because I'm always like, this person's as good and this person's as good. So
Yeah.
what you get,
We always talk about collabs, Savon.
Yes.
yeah, or duos. Are they top 5 now? No,
the worst duo. No, I'm glad you said that because I was coming. The worst duo, Ty Dolla $ign and Division. The worst duo ever.
Man.
But now this is a good duo. They
2021 what a time.
Sure.
2021 what a time.
A lot of cocaine in those studio sessions for sure.
Yeah.
But now transitioning to our next review of Summer Walker's Clear 2 Soft Life EP. In this EP, it opens with To Summer from Cole, a lyrical benediction where J. Cole turns in one of his most compassionate guest verses. And she even said this project was kind of like more catered to her day one fans, as she recently was mentioning it to kind of like show dedication to more soul music for the future. Kevin, what were your initial takeaways on this EP? Obviously, she had an album a couple of years ago, and now she's kind of like following it back with a concise project.
So I like it, and I like it's not bad. I mean, it's almost like I don't. It's not like.
Just say it. Just say it, Kevin.
Be honest. You can be honest. Don't hold
it's
back.
Terrible. It's bad.
I don't care for it as much. I like her aim. I like some of the but for me, it's not what I want. It's not what I go and play. And I love Summer Walker. Like when I play like Summer Walker music, it just wasn't kind of.
We're not her day ones, bro.
That's what I was saying. When she said day ones, I was like, really? Like, who are you making this for?
I'm a day one.
I like it.
Because I just, yeah, I don't know. It felt weird. It felt, I think we talked about an album last time. It felt more like an album Ari Lennox would have put out.
Yep.
And I would have rather heard Ari Lennox do.
She would have killed this. She would have killed this.
like
perfect point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's literally when I heard the music and even the style of singing, I was like, this would have probably been better for Ari Lennox.
They're friends and they, talk and hang out, so they probably some type of chemistry
like,
that music
would kill that. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, she would have definitely made this whatever this was. If J. Cole was never on this, we would never hear about it.
That's probably very true. Because I'm not gonna really be listening to this much. I might throw it on at some point again just to be like, let me make sure. Because I like some, like I said, I like listening. I always want to have reasons to like something. And so I get it. I like some of the stuff she was talking, but it does feel, I'm glad she put it as an EP rather than like saying it's an album. Because it feels like, hey, like I want to do something in between. Hey, this is where I'm at a little bit. Cool. Awesome. But I want to go back to the the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm skipping. Savon, don't hold back, man. Tell us what you
I like the content. I'll give you that. I like the content. I like what she was talking about. I think it was more of a diary for her. But if J. Cole would have never took 5 years to write this, why does he take so long to write features? Take 5 years.
Hearing about the fall off. We're still hearing about the fall off, man. Come on,
bro. This is insane. Yeah, if he would have never wrote that, and the verse wasn't crazy or nothing. Like I was looking for like crazy bars. He was just being J. Cole, open.
I was gonna ask, like, what do you think about the verse?
it was okay. It wasn't one of his best verses, but I do think it came from the heart for sure. And that he was giving her advice. He was actually listening to her. She said, I think it was Session 32 actually cried on. I ain't cried, but I do love Session 32 song. That's fire song. But yeah, this wasn't nothing for her fans. This was for her, which is okay. It didn't translate over to the fans because I'm a huge fan of Summer Walker.
We have seen artists do that recently where they'll make projects that aren't for like any of their fans. They'll just say like, this was for me. I've already put out so much music.
Cool. Because she's giving us so much. Okay.
It felt like an interlude, like a long interlude.
Bro, Kevin, you are on it today, sir. That is perfect. It did feel like a long interlude, and J. Cole started it. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a good point. That's crazy.
This wasn't our favorite EP, one of our favorite EPs. Savon. We were so hyped before it. We were like, oh, we're in a new summer EP.
Didn't hit the bottom of the ocean now. With a brick
middle of the ocean.
Tied to drop in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, definitely. Now getting into our next review with Rory's, I thought it would be different. In his debut album, which kind of has like high profile features such as Ari Lennox, James Fauntleroy Division, Alex Isley, and more. This is kind of a 13-song album, which he really does a really good job of curating it and showcasing some of the best talents in R&B and hip hop. To you, Kevin, what did you initially think about this? Because it's interesting when we have like somebody from outside of music kind of getting in and like putting the artists that they know together for a full-length
album. I really liked it.
I thought it was
good. Like, I really liked it. Like, not like, oh, it's a 10 out of 10 classic all time, but like, like just playing it, especially for a collaboration album, it sounded way more cohesive than like 95% of like albums like this that people put together. Like, it sounded like as if people were putting the same type of music without like each song just sounding the same. I wrote down kind of when I was thinking of it, and it was because partly I was listening to it while I was at a coffee shop. And I mean this in the most complimentary way, because at first it'll sound almost in a bad way. It sounds like incredible coffee shop or background music at a party or something, like at a summer party in the evening, and it's just playing in the background. And you're like, hey, whoever's playing this, that sounds pretty good.
I'm going to Shazam that.
You're 3 for 3, Kevin.
It's not missing.
Like, yeah, and so I was kind of like, I like I had weird. He's been working on it for a few years.
Working on it since 2020. Like he even said recently on his podcast that he's been working on it like since the pandemic. So I heard.
Yeah,
he was talking about this when he was on Joe's podcast. Like that's how long he's been talking about that.
Yeah. So I had expectations, and I was like, well, I don't really want to have expectations because I don't know how. And he's worked in music stuff. I mean, I think he did AR stuff with Sony and
Emotional Oranges.
Does the stuff with Emotional Oranges and stuff like this. So I figured it wouldn't be trash or anything, but like
he's got a good ear for
you. Yeah. And I was a little bit surprised at like, I thought it was good. I mean, like not like every song is a 10 out of 10, but like they all just flowed really well, and like it just sounded good. Like this is one I will play again.
I'm gonna say I never thought I would hear Conway. I never thought I would hear Conway on a beat like that. I never thought. He sounded really good on it.
That was dope. That was actually dope one.
Yeah. To you, Savon, because all of his singles in the past, we really liked. We mentioned how we kind of were anticipating what this whole project would sound like. But what did you think about it overall, and just him curating this?
Come to my surprise, I thought he was an artist because it sounds like other people besides the feature artist on the song. And then Wellington told me, no, he's just a curator. He's just a curator of the arts. But then I had to take back my initial thoughts of the album and just clear space. And yeah, this is tough. He has a lot of good art. I'm gonna compare it to DJ Khaled's albums, and he just throws tracks on there, or they just give him old tracks. This has been freaking day aged for 3 years, son. Like Rory's been day aged in this album, and it sounds so good. It sounds really, really good.
I'm gonna give you a bet. I'm gonna give you a bet, Savon. The people that work with Rory probably really like Rory. The people who work with Khaled are probably super annoyed that he brings.
Stop calling me. Like Bryson Tiller. He put up on Bryson Tiller. But yeah, you can tell that the people actually like Rory on these tracks. And then Conway was the the biggest surprise. Like you said, when the beat came on, I'm thinking like he's on this shit. Does a beat change eventually? But then he just goes on there, he just flows, man. He's just a natural talent. But Rory, yeah, this is yeah, man. There's probably 9 out of 13 songs I really like. Obviously, the 5 singles that he dropped periodically, and then Goalie interlude and then Division interlude really sold me because they were put precisely at the right spots throughout the album to kind of like slow it down and bring it back to something. And I think the intro song "Surrender" was pretty dope too. Yeah,
that.
start to finish.
And another thing I was mentioning before, Kevin with Savon, was like how the album ended with Reason, kind of going like for like a 4 or 5 minute just lyrical type of track. Like, is there any way could you envision after hearing this? Could you envision a project where Rory just like curated a bunch of like rappers that he knows like in the industry to like put together a full body of work like this? Like could you see him kind of pulling off that type of album after doing this one?
I feel like with the amount of work he would, the willingness to not rush it.
Yeah,
I feel like he probably could. I feel like that's the biggest thing. I mean, having a good ear is really important, and all that's good, and doing that. But the fact that you're not like just gonna throw it out there to throw it out there.
Yeah, that's very true.
I would think so. Although I don't. I feel like this would be more his lane of figuring this out. And even when he talks about music and
He
things
likes
like that,
R&B
I feel
more.
like yeah, I feel like this would probably be something he does better. But I feel like if he did that with some with rap, I mean, I feel like it would probably be solid at the very least. Kind of like like Steve, I mean, like compared to like DJ Khaled is just like, let me get Justin Bieber, Drake, and Chance the
We know all the
Rapper,
people are going to be
maybe
on
the Migos.
it.
Yeah, throw some really bubbly pop. And then there'll always be like one random song that's really good though, like on accident almost.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
and so compared to that, I think he would do one that was probably pretty solid. I don't know in particular, he might go like the Griselda route, or who he would
I
go
was
to
thinking
have more of a
Griselda
track.
because he knows a lot of people in Griselda.
Yeah,
It might be a Griselda type of album.
yeah.
And after listening to our next review with Jorja Smith's Little Things, in her latest single, which is kind of a song about spontaneity, shows Jorja discussing, making dreams come true, and lyrically, it's very loose, plus centered on having fun. Kevin, to you, what were your initial thoughts on this single and just the overall feel of it?
I really so the first time I listened to it, I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool. But I've kept listening to it more, like I kept playing it more and more,
Yeah.
and I was just like, man, I really like this song like a lot. Like, cause I listened to that, and then she had the other one come out too, "Try Me."
Yep.
Yep.
Try me. Mm-hmm.
And "Try Me" at first for me was more like, oh man, I love this.
Yeah.
And but then "Little Things," I just kind of like the more I kept playing it, I was like, man, I really like this song a lot. Like this, it kept growing on me, which usually is like most of the stuff I really really like. I usually at first think it's solid. Like I'm usually like, oh, that's cool, and then it like keeps
Builds up.
growing a little bit more. So yeah, I thought it was really good. I really like it.
Yeah,
It's a fun
definitely.
song.
Savon, to you, what were your initial thoughts on this single? Because she recently announced that her second album is coming out September 29th, and she's been putting out a lot of singles recently. What were your takeaways of it, and just kind of your expectations for her next project?
This is a single song.
It is.
It's a single song. Context, Kevin. We when artists drop a single, we either think it's for an album or it's actually a good single song. So this is actually a good single song. Thought it remind me of Georgia's interlude off Drake's
More Life.
More Life one. It had that type of tone and vibe to it. And I don't want to like it so bad because how she did my boy. I got his number saved.
We got Jaded, man. We got Jaded. We got one of his best R&B songs.
Bro, she did a wrong. How you gonna take him to see your family? What?
Did it over text. Did it over text. My goodness.
That's crazy, bro. But
Text so green.
This song is fire. This is a good song. I think this got saved. This is something you can play any environment. It'd be a vibe if you in a bodega.
just randomly
in a bodega. Turn on.
This is Georgia. Yo, but this any environment is a vibe. You can play at night, daytime, whatever. I'm really interested in how this album is going to be.
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah, how do you think it's going to sound?
The album's going to be. I think it's going to be a solid project because she's still getting into her own, still getting to the niche of finding a consistent pattern of music. So I'm really eager to listen to this album, and I think it's 15 songs, 16 tracks, 16 tracks. So pretty
We
concise.
like 13 or 14, but we'll let it
Yeah,
slide.
we'll take it since we know you and all.
Since we know.
If you want to get on a podcast, Georgia, just come call us. You got my number.
Come on, Georgia.
Come on, girl. No, please follow me, please.
She'll never.
Ooh, she is, bless her heart.
But now getting to our next review, last review with Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem's The Hillbillies, which Savon utterly.
I'm just gonna mute my microphone.
Come on, man. But in this new surprise track, it was obviously a drill inspired song, samples Von Iver. It's the pair's 10th collaboration. To you, Kevin, like, what did you initially think about this? Because there was not a lot of promotion of this. It just dropped randomly, and they obviously worked together a lot. But I feel as though this was just not something meant for something in particular. But it's just whenever they work together. It's a loose kind of laid back type of track.
I don't hate it as much as some may. I won't say like I love it. I mean, it's fun to just throw on randomly, but I feel like I'm probably not gonna be playing it much soon. But I also do feel like if y'all kind of do is this gonna be on the album or is this just throw it out there or something? I don't feel like this is gonna be on an album. I feel like this is just kind of like to have something out there. I hope it's not on an album.
Yeah, you ever hear one of those songs? You're like, please don't put this on.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm a Kendrick stan. I mean, I'm a defender of Kendrick and everything, and so that made me probably not dislike it super much. I'm like, it's cool. It's fine. It wasn't what I would have wanted necessarily.
Yeah, you were definitely a Kendrick Lamar fan.
Yeah,
definitely.
But I feel like it's better with the video. It's kind of fun to watch him play, like, and just kind of like see that. But like playing it, I played it a few times. I thought I liked, and then and since then I'm just like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah, it's Savon. It's not a single song or album. It's just a Lucy, right? It's just a Lucy.
Bro, this is music you are definitely making with a family member. Like, this is, I got my cousin in the studio and we're just gonna flow. Whatever comes out, going down to the retro grade of a cover art. This is 007. Bro, yeah, it's a no for me, man. Even, and I'm glad you did say something about you being a Kendrick Lamar fan. I'm a Drake fan, but if he puts out some crap, I'm gonna call it crap. That last single he put out was crap, was trash. But this definitely, they probably was in the basement of his $5 million mansion, and was just making music. And it was like, you know what, you want to drop it? Let's drop it. And then the Hillbillies, and there's a music video behind this.
Yeah,
I see. Now I gotta watch the music video to get some context.
I think the music video actually helps when you watch the music video because it
kind of does.
I hope so.
It feels like
you're not gonna end up liking the song, but you'll be like, okay, I kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah, and the only thing I won't say like, but like I think is good from this. I feel like on Kendrick's last album, I feel like he was clearly saying, look, I'm not the guy y'all prop me up to be. I'm kind of a certain way sometimes. Here's my thing towards that, and now I'm gonna just make some stuff. It's gonna be fun, maybe. It might be aggressive at times, it might be whatever. And so I feel like him putting out something like this is kind of almost a first step towards that, of just like, I'm gonna just make stuff. And like, because even he says, what's the song where he's talking about, I'm y'all put me a certain way, but I'm more Kodak Black and and I choose me, I'm sorry. Now he's in this mindset where I think he's gonna be like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do, and y'all don't have to overthink it, y'all don't have to do all that, and it's gonna be just like that. And he's gonna make
bro, Kevin, you're a 4 for 4, bro. This is unheard of a full scope podcast from a guest, bro. That is, I didn't even get that from that album, and I love that album.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta go listen to it again to get that point, get that perspective. I didn't even hear that from him. Wow. And he dropped this. Wow. I don't like the direction. I'm gonna say it. I don't like the direction. I don't like the direction. Be serious again. Talk about your aunt or whoever. Talk about that.
I'm gonna tell you what though. After that album was heavy. That is a super heavy album though. You gotta.
I guess you just
like,
gotta.
You know what I mean? Just like let vent, after you follow it. So yeah, that's a great point.
Hillbillies.
We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back with our Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse review.